This video is presented by Western and Southern Financial Group, a game plan for your financial future. Every great team starts with a strong foundation, and your future should too. With life insurance built like a championship roster, Western and Southern helps protect what matters most so you can focus on winning today while planning for tomorrow. Whether you're just starting out your journey, building your dynasty, or ready to retire like a champion, Western and Southern has the right play for your life stage. Visit westernsouthern.com to get your free life insurance quote today. Western and Southern, built to win.
I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball at our production people because we've got folks in the chat who are yelling for us to get to the Saints game. So I would like to do the Saints game next, just because there are so many people that are very fired up. We got some passionate NFC South fans here on this channel this year, whether it's the Panthers or the Saints or the Bucs when they were good, it's... And I can understand it. We just talked about a couple of minutes ago how if there was a round-robin tournament this weekend, and it was like, all right, winner of that gets to represent the NFC South when it comes to the playoffs, we'd be picking the Saints. And they defeated the Tennessee Titans this past week, 34-26 was the final score. Top 5 graded players that we had for the New Orleans Saints in this game. Tight end Juwan Johnson with a 90.1 overall grade. Wide receiver Chris Olave with an 87.5. Running back Audric Estime, NFLSE great, with an 82.9. Linebacker Danny Stutzman, the rookie, with an 82.1. Edge rusher Chase Young, a 78.8. Tyler Shuck in this game, a 76.6. I'll talk a little bit more about him in a second. On Tennessee's side of things, linebacker Cedric Gray, he's had some really good games this season. An elite 91.6. So is this guy. Defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons having a career best year this year with a 91.5 overall grade. Defensive tackle T'Vondre Sweat right behind him with an 83.9. Offensive guard Peter Skoronski an 82.3. And then offensive tackle Dan Moore Jr. with an 80.2. Cam Ward in this game a 46.2. Some insane plays. And I mean that both good and bad here in this game. What was your stat that told the story, Dalton?
Look, man, the Saints, they were down 20-10 at halftime. I believe they did not score an offensive touchdown in the first half of this game. Their one touchdown was the Chase Young strip sack that I'll get to a little bit later. Kind of pulled a Jamal Adams on that play and just took it right out of Cam Ward's hands. But the Saints in the second half of this game, how about these for offensive numbers? A 92.4 offensive grade, 10.5 yards per play in the second half of this game, 9 explosive plays compared to just 3 for Tennessee. You just look at the development of Tyler Shuck over the second half of this season and what he's done essentially with not much of a run game. It was a little bit better in this game with Audric Estime in the backfield getting most of the carries, but the chemistry he's developing with Chris Olave, the big game out of Juwan Johnson, and then just Kellen Moore just going, listen, we're not playing for anything. We're not tanking for the number 1 overall pick because we have a quarterback, and we're playing a team with a really vulnerable secondary. Tyler, let's go see if you can just come back and win a game on the road. And they put up 24 points in the second half of this game. Just outstanding. I mean, you look at really the Saints, and outside of one drive where I believe it was, who was it that fumbled here at the end of it? Dante Pettis fumbled as they were driving down into Tennessee's red zone, and then you had a 3-and-out at the very end. But they had opportunities to score on 5 of their 6 drives in the second half of this game. If Tyler Shuck's going to continue to play like this, and you have to love, and this was his best trait to me at Louisville, the confidence throwing the ball outside the numbers, especially. Yes. Those to me were his best throws in college, and really Kellen Moore, I think, has taken advantage of that. It's really something he took advantage of with Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia last year, throwing those vertical routes outside the numbers, getting those one-on-one matchups. You're finding these two really they're finding a nice chemistry, and I think they need one more receiver to try to find a complement to Chris Olave, and they got to find, something more of a run game, a consistent run game. But if they add some balance to this offense, this team's really got a long-term picture coming into focus here. And I think Tyler Shuck, the way he played in the second half of this game, just outstanding stuff to create a double-digit comeback against a team at halftime in Tennessee that was feeling really good about themselves.
I agree, man. I've been so impressed with what Tyler Shuck has been able to do, and I was very skeptical about him just overall as a draft prospect with the age, how long he had been in college, multiple different systems. Okay, he had a big arm, but I was still worried about some of the turnover or the throws that I had seen from him, even that last year at Louisville. But we heard that the NFL was very in on him just because of the overall arm talent, and man, what a great spot he has landed in with Kellen Moore, like you mentioned, who likes to design things to get those outside throws. And I agree with you. In this game, incredibly confident, throwing the ball deep down the field, outside the numbers and to the sideline. It's been awesome to see. They had an 8.1 yards per play average. That was my stat that told the story here, because that's just an incredibly potent offense anytime that you're doing something like that. Shuck in this game, we mentioned, what was it, a 76.6 overall grade, but an 80.4 passing grade in this game. More than 290 passing yards with 5 big-time throws and only 1 turnover-worthy play in each of the last 3 games. Well, the turnover-worthy plays weren't. He had over 290 passing yards in each of the last 3 games, and then total through those 3 games, 5 big-time throws and only 1 turnover-worthy play. As I was, looking at his profile over at PFF.com, I was looking at the passing grades, and I just didn't realize how consistent he has been this season. And you go back and you watch some of these games and you look at some of these numbers. He has 6 single-game passing grades above 70 this season. He's only got 1 below a 60.0. And remember, the PFF scale, a 60.0 is neutral. Like 60.0 is like, yeah, you did your job today, some good, some bad, one didn't heavily outweigh the other. It was a decent day at the office. A 60 grade is like a neutral grade as a starter. He's had 1 game that he has played in his rookie year with a passing grade below 60. And he's got 6 games above 70. So impressed with what this dude's been able to do and the confidence that he is playing with. It's really fun to watch a young quarterback pair with a head coach and offensive play caller who really gets what they are trying to do, who leans into their strengths, and that's exactly what we're seeing from the New Orleans Saints. On the other side of things, the guy who was picked number 1 overall in this past draft class, Ward has to fix the fumbles. They were an issue for him when he was in college, and they have been a major issue for him here in the NFL. He leads the NFL in total fumbles lost this season with 11, and he had 5 turnover-worthy plays in this game. 2 of them were fumbles. Now, one of them was the Chase Young, he just ripped it right out from him and scored the touchdown. But the more concerning one was the one that came in the fourth quarter where he's avoiding pressure, he's keeping the play alive, and you love that. You don't want to coach that out of Cam Ward, absolutely. But then it's this play where I can't remember if it was defender spun him around or he was just spinning around and the ball just like flies out of his hands. And I can't remember what his hand size was when he measured at the combine, but it just feels like that happens a lot. Like the ball's like really far out away from his body and it just falls out of his hands. And that's the stuff that is annoying, that's backbreaking sometimes. And so as Ward gets better, because I think he's going to get better as a quarterback. Like I think the kid's got all the talent in the world, and when he's playing confidently, he's got some crazy throws. He even hit some crazy throws in this game. If you don't eliminate these fumbles, if you don't at the very least cut them in half from what we've seen this season, you're just going to have so many moments this year where it's so much good and then maybe one bad play that actually outweighs all the good that you're doing. So moving forward, Cam has to clean up the fumble issues that he's had this rookie season.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's got to figure out, and he had to figure this out in college before he got to Miami. He was the same way. He's got to figure out when it can't just be all on him, when he can't just carry the team. Trevor, his average time to throw in this game was 4 seconds. I don't know. I don't know when I've seen that. I believe I saw a stat from Next Gen Stats that it's the highest in a game they've ever tracked. I got to see if we've ever had anybody else go through a whole game with an average time to throw of 4 seconds. But that's the idea. I mean, Cam's got to play within structure more often. I think he's going to go through the same process, and we'll see who the Titans hire and bring in as a head coach and an offensive play caller to get him to play within structure more often, because you just can't play that fast and loose style all the time. And you mentioned it, the football's oftentimes low and away from him, and he's fumbling. And he had, I think, what was the number I told you? Was it 45 fumbles in his college career, somewhere around there, maybe even 50? Just too loose.
45 is insane.
Too loose with the football late in the play. I mean, he's always been like that. And the idea, the reason he got taken number 1 was the improvement in structure, right? He could still make the hero plays, but he was a lot better in structure at Miami. He's going to have to find that over the next couple of years in Tennessee.
Yeah, and I just looked it up. 9-inch hands from him, that's 8th percentile for quarterbacks in the NFL. So it checks out that he has much smaller hands than a regular pro quarterback does. So when that ball is far away from his frame and it's not tucked, he can be gripping it as hard as he wants, but when your fingers in your hand is smaller, you just have less of the ball that you have control over. And when you're spinning all over the place and you got your momentum going one way, the ball's just going to fall out of your hands too often. And like you said, this was an issue for him in college. has to figure it out in the NFL. He cannot be fumbling the football like this. It's going to be backbreaking. The Jags and the Colts. Wait, was there anybody else you want to shout out?
I mean, Chase Young, especially for the play, 8 pressures,
Sure, yeah.
2 sacks, but especially for that strip sack touchdown, like I said, basically pulled a Jamal Adams and just took the ball right out of Cam Ward's hands. That was one reason the Saints stayed in this game, because it was 13-3. It was ugly offensively early. They just needed a spark, and it felt like that gave it to them. But Chase Young, this Saints pass rush has gotten a lot better since Young has got healthy, and he was outstanding in this game.
Everyone's got takes. Numbers have truth. And the truth is, most people are betting with emotion. Sportsbooks feed on it. TikTok gurus sell it. The hype machine runs on it. That's how you lose. PFF is different. You're betting with winning data. The same data trusted by all 32 NFL teams and the sharpest minds in the game. PFF betting tools take every prop, every matchup, every angle, and run them through our custom models. Built on the best football data in the world. What comes back is your edge. Simple, sharp, and built to win. Want to go deeper? PFF puts a pro-level analytics department in your hands, giving you the same insights teams use to find every advantage. Build your game plan with matchup analysis. Project every snap, every matchup, and every edge before kickoff. Because the smartest plays start long before Sunday. Hit rates show how a player performs against their prop and against defenses built the same way. It's the data that gives you real confidence in every pick. Next, Key Insights translates PFF data into the story behind every matchup, giving you the why that powers your bets. From coverage schemes to defensive looks, it's the context that turns raw numbers into winning decisions. When you're ready to take action, filter through every prop on the market and focus on the opportunities that matter, by game, matchup, or value. Then, shop for the best available line in your area and tap your book of choice to place the bet instantly. Everyone's got takes, but now you've got truth. Bet with data, win with PFF.